Stephanie, I
Pardon
will,
me?
I will still tell you, I caught your last one and it was a stretch, but I call that more than a stretch. You are so complete and you use the whole body. And I swear to God, even my husband did it and we were sore for like 3 or 4 days. It's like, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
that's called exercise, right? I mean, no, I told you at the time, not even my physical therapist stretched me good like that. So I love it.
Oh, I remember somebody saying that. I guess that was
Yep.
you.
It was,
Or
well,
yeah.
I know I did for sure.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
I look forward to it.
So this time I'm going to add a little bit more yoga
Oh,
movements for those of you who have never done yoga. I just thought I'd just introduce it. But I'll tell you what, when I do yoga now, I just do kind of a general class. I would prefer it's a little harder, at least for me.
yeah.
Um, but even when we're at the very beginning and we're just lightly stretching, I start to sweat.
Yeah.
So you are working, and it's so underrated. I'm going to go into all of that today, as far as the different modalities. Um, but you can really sweat just doing stretching. You are literally working those muscles, and that's how we get those leaner muscle looking. And then as you're eating the food right, which is how you're going to lose the body fat as well, then you can start to see them because we all have the muscles. We all have abs.
Yeah.
It's just that we have a layer of stuff covering it up. you know. So once we get our food down and our exercise down and everything all lined up. So this week is the first start of the 3-part series. So part one is this week, and part one is physical fitness. So that's what we're going to go into this week. I'm all exercise. I just feel like it's an important topic because a lot of our clients, it's just never been on the radar. They just don't do a lot of exercise. So that's why I did create module 5 in the course. So at least it's a beginner friendly, it's a place to start. Those of you who have been exercising and know kind of what to do and understand the different muscle groups and how to work the opposing muscle groups and making sure the body stays balanced. Then this what the module 5 will be too pedestrian or basic. But then go do what you're going to do. But I'll tell you what, when I did yoga for the first time, I hated it. It was just slow and boring, and we're holding our arms out. And I'm like, come on, let's move. I was coming from the kickboxing era, loud music and jumping up and down and, dripping sweat and punching at the air and all the things. And then you get me in there like this, and I'm gonna breathe. It's like, oh, please, yawn, yawn. But now it's my favorite. And I ended up becoming a yoga teacher as well. So
Wow.
it just depends on your perspective of how you look at the exercise. If I'm there, because I had one of my chiropractors who was not a crack your spine kind of chiropractor. It was a husband and wife. They were very different, very kind of new agey sort of. And they're like, take the yoga for your breath work, just for breath, because we breathe so shallow sometimes, just enough to sustain life. And we really need to get that breath all the way deep down into the bottom of our lungs, using your diaphragm, all the things. So if I'm taking yoga for breath versus for exercise, somehow it takes on a whole new meaning. And so that's where I really learned to like it. So
Very cool.
anyway, with that said, let me see if I can't find, here we go. Actually, before I dive in, does anybody have anything they want to ask or discuss, or something they're concerned about? There will be Q&A at the end. Um, but if
Have
you have
you ever heard
anything,
of Tai Chi?
pardon?
Have you ever heard of Tai Chi? I think.
Yes, yes, and that's very deceiving too. That's very deceiving. My very first job was in the senior center, and which I didn't teach that because I don't know enough to teach that. In fact, I don't even think I've actually taken a class. I've seen the class many times because it was there at the senior center. Um, but it's about focus, and it's about breath, and it's about slow movement, but you're still moving your body. But when you're moving really slow, you're still holding your arms up. You're still using your muscles. So if you have a lot of joint issues, jumping up and down is no longer for you. If you know, makes you pee or it hurts your joints or your knee or your hips or your back, like those are my side effects from, high impact jumping up and down. I don't want to really do that anymore. But that would be a great place to get moving for your body. And it's what's nice about it too is it's done in a group setting typically. So it's also going to satisfy a social need that we have of connecting with other people who who are also living a healthy lifestyle. Again, surrounding yourself with like-minded people helps us understand that this is the new normal, and they all contribute different ideas, which again is why I love these groups. You guys all participate, you share your ideas, you share your suggestions, you also share your struggles, and together we help each other. So yeah, I would definitely encourage checking it out. It might be too slow for some people, but it might be just right for others.
And what do you think about water aerobics?
I'm going to talk about that today. That is
Okay.
excellent, 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 because it provides strength training because of the resistance of the water. A, B, it's really wonderful for your joints. And C, you're going to get your cardiovascular work too. Just walking in the water, you have the resistance from the water. That's what we used to do. I used to walk as a warm up. We'd walk in a circle, and then after a minute or so of that, we get the water going, and then say, okay, turn around, do a 180. Now go the other way, and then you're fighting the current.
Right.
And you really are pushing against, the water itself, but also the current now that we've created. So actually, I do have a special slide for that as well. But that was the first job in fitness I ever had, was the water aerobics.
Oh,
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
that's cool.
All right. So today we got some welcomes, shout outs, and funnies. We'll talk about fitness. We'll talk about some components of fitness. We're going to go into the types of exercise, the benefits, and the progressions, because that's what it's all about. We keep doing the same thing over and over again. We stop progressing. So how do we progress in each one? I'll be going over that. Nutrition, I'm just going to touch on that because without nutrition, you cannot have physical fitness. It's probably more important than the exercise. But for the sake of giving you guys a really good, taste of exercise, I'm going to mostly talk about exercise. In fact, years ago, I did a program, and I did it in my house. It was called A Taste of Fitness. So it included mindset, included food, I did yoga class out there on the grass. It was kind of fun. And I had a part 1 and a part 2. And that was a really fun group. It was an all Saturday kind of event. So today we're going to have a taste of fitness as well. All right, so let's see. Let's get in here. We got our funnies. By the way, my favorite exercise is somewhere between a lunge and a crunch. Wait, I think they call that lunch. Thank you for laughing. My husband says I've been gaining weight, but in my defense, I've had a lot on my plate. And I'll be here all week. All right, so we got some shout outs. I know I won't quit my day job. All right, so Julie is down 15 pounds. Lynn finished up and she had exceeded her weight goal. Colleen's A1C is down and she is below pre-diabetic numbers. So congratulations to Colleen. Mary is down 4 pounds in just 5 days. And Connie is down 14.5 pounds in just the first 2 weeks. So congratulations to them. Welcomes to Cara, Julie, Al, Laura, Diane, Frank, Sonia, Mary, Shelley, Cindy. We got a new Evelyn, Joanne, Brenda, and Danette. So welcome to my new people. All right, so let me move this here. Okay, so how fit are you? What is fitness? So we're going to go into a few things in the next few weeks. So like I said, we have physical fitness, mental fitness, That will be next week. That's more like mindset, how to get out of your own way. Someone in chat is saying, Amy, oh, and Amy is down 5 pounds in 5 days. Did I have you on my list? No, I did not. Congratulations, Amy. That's awesome. That's really awesome. A pound a day. Now, to be clear, it's likely toxins and water weight, which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But eventually it's going to probably end up being more like 1 to 2 pounds per week, which is a healthy. But as someone just getting started, it's very likely we lose a lot of water weight and a lot of toxins. Toxins are uh, often stored in our fat cells, which is a good thing. Those fat cells are shrinking. So congratulations, Amy. Spiritual fitness. This is how I will be connecting the dots, and I will make this all make sense. How having a spiritual fitness actually affects your physical body. It affects your physical body. So I will make these all connect by the end of that part 3. And then there's financial fitness. And guess what? I will not be talking about that because that is not my level of expertise. In fact, those are the classes I'm taking. I take those classes. So when I ask you guys to track your calories, trust and believe I understand that because my teachers in my financial fitness classes have asked me to track my spending, my income and my spending, which is a pain in the butt. So I feel your pain. I understand what a pain in the ass the tracking of the food is, but it's really, really important and it's very, very enlightening. And I learned that when I was tracking my stuff. I mean, I'm spending, you don't even realize if you start tracking and I'm talking about the stuff you buy last minute at the checkout stand, you don't pay attention. Oh, there's some gum or, something really that you did not go into the store for. All right, so the definition of physical fitness is a state of health and well-being, specifically the ability to perform aspects of sports, occupations, and daily activity. Physical fitness is generally achieved through proper nutrition, moderate to vigorous exercise, with sufficient rest and recovery. Those are very important and underrated, and I will be talking about rest as well today. All right, so let's dig into the components. Let's see here. All right, so cardiovascular endurance, what does that mean? That's your ability to keep going at a higher, moderate to vigorous level for a longer period of time. So the longer you can withstand a higher heart rate range, the more cardiovascular endurance you have. Body composition. Now, I put this chart here in the lower right corner. So if you want to find your age, and you can kind of see, now if you have a scale that measures your body fat, it would be great. You don't have to. So when you fill out the check-in sheet, I'm asking for your weight and your body fat. And a lot of people panic. I don't know how to tell my body fat. Well, don't worry, you don't have to know. However, there's 3 ways to know if you're on plateau. Your weight stays the same, your body fat stays the same, and your inches stay the same. So if before you start or at the very beginning, have your starting weight, have your starting inches, and have your starting body fat so that you kind of get credit. Because sometimes the scale stops, but then the inches go, or then the body fat goes. So your body composition is basically your fat mass versus your lean body mass. So as you can see, for the 40 to 50 crowd, for women, it's 23 to about 34-ish. For those of us over 60, it's 24 to about 36. So just kind of, if you want to take a screenshot of that, just so you kind of have an idea where low, normal, and high looks like. And there, if you look this up, they all look a little bit different, but at least you get a kind of an idea on the range. Flexibility, which is also very important. We're going to go into that today. Very important, it's the ability to move your body widen your range of motion. Muscle strength, how much are you able to lift? Muscle endurance, how many times can you lift it before your muscles give out? So there's a difference between both, and we want to have both. So when you're doing your strength training, you want to do, some days you want to go real heavy, so you build some strength, but there's other days that you might want to go higher reps with a lower weight to build that muscular endurance. And then we've got skills like speed, agility. Agility is when you're able to change directions, go side to side, front and back, kind of like what a soccer player does, or a pickleball player does, or a basketball player does. They're kind of going in all the directions. If you're agile, you're not going to fall down. You definitely need balance. And your balance muscles are between your knees and your ribs. So you're working your thighs and you're working your core, you're going to have better balance. Coordination, obviously, we want to be able to have coordination. And reaction time, of course we need that. We need that for driving. We need that for basic day-to-day stuff. So these are some skills that we might want to practice. This is why working out is so important, because different kinds of exercise modalities will help us increase or improve our speed, our agility, our balance, our coordination, and our reaction time, not to mention muscle strength and endurance, and even cardiovascular endurance, and some flexibility for that matter too. All right, so today we've got the types of exercise: cardiovascular, which is anything that gets your heart rate up; strength training, which is anything with resistance, that's weights, light weights, heavy weights, resistance bands, cables, the weight machines, dumbbells, barbells, free weights, your own body weight, like yoga and Pilates. High intensity interval training, which is where it's typically timed, and you're doing either cardio or strength training or a combination of both for periods of time, and then you rest, and then you go hard for a period of time, and then you rest. I'll go over all that today. Flexibility, obviously increasing your range of motion, improving the flexibility, the integrity of your joints, really important. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to go over some aqua fitness today as well. All right. All right, so let's dive right in. So what is cardiovascular exercise? It's basically anything that gets your heart rate up. And not everything is exercise. Sometimes if you're doing some, strenuous yard work or cleaning out your garage or, stuff like that, it can also, over the weekend, over the holidays, I painted my living room and I was up and down on that ladder. And so I could feel my heart rate was up, and I had my smartwatch on, and I burned an extra 1,200 calories.
Wow.
Well, it was 4 hours worth too. So, but basically it's anything that gets your heart rate up. Where should your heart rate be? Now, Monday, I did a deep dive on a formula specific, some math that you can do specific for your cardiac condition. So some of you have been, sedentary for a long time. Some of you play pickleball 2 hours every single day. So you're going to have a different range. So it's specific to what your resting heart rate is with your age and all that. If you don't want to do a lot of math, you just take 180 minus your age, and that's kind of where you want your target heart rate to be, which would put you approximately in the fat burning zone. And I say this because a lot of my clients on the weekly check-in sheet, they check the box walking. But if you're not tracking your heart rate, I would not maybe even consider it exercise. Are you moving your body? Yes. Are you getting some sunshine? Let's hope so. Awesome. Let's see, where was I? You're moving your body, but if your heart rate isn't up, then it's probably not considered exercise. Getting outside, getting some good vitamin D, doing that first thing in the morning is very, very helpful, especially for your circadian rhythm. So what are some of the benefits of cardiovascular exercise? It burns calories right here, right now. And so the harder you work, the more calories you are burning. There is a bit of what's called afterburn. So say you're on a treadmill, or you're running, or you're riding a bike, or you're hiking, or whatever, and it's, your metabolism goes up. When you get off that treadmill, you get off that bike, or you get off that mountain, it will slowly go back to its old, slower self. So there is an afterburn. So the second you get off the treadmill doesn't mean your metabolism goes right back to its normal self. It slowly goes back to normal. It's great for your heart and your lungs. If you are exercising your heart, well, not only your heart and your lungs, but your vascular system. Your vascular system, your veins and arteries, when when you do cardiovascular exercises, it allows those veins and arteries to stretch out so that the blood can flow through as needed. Every time the more blood that flows through your veins and arteries, the more nourishment, the more oxygen every single cell in your body is getting. So that's an important piece. It's good for your brain. Well, let me go through the benefits. It's just really very important. Your heart is a muscle. We got to work that. Your lungs also, very important to stretch those out and breathe a lot. Every time you exhale, you're detoxifying. So when you do cardio, you're breathing more. So you're detoxifying extra. Okay, there it is. So again, when we do cardio, we tend to sweat and we breathe a little bit harder. So sweating, toxins come out, but also every time you exhale. So if you think about it, if you were to on a mirror and you see that kind of fog thing come up, all that stuff, that's all the toxins coming out of your body. So we want to make sure that we're doing this to continue the detoxifying process. Great for circulation and healing. The fastest way to heal any broken thing in your body is to get blood to it. So the more circulation that we're having, the more blood will be going to these different parts, the quicker we're going to heal. You're going to get better sleep. I know for me, when I exercise, I get far better sleep. And even when I hear my clients will usually agree with that. On days that they exercise, they're noticing their sleep is better. And I'm talking about even some of my clients who have the issue of horrible sleep or not great sleep. So, again, if you're not sleeping very well, you might want to get out there and exercise. Oops, I guess that was it. Any questions on cardiovascular disease, cardiovascular exercise? All right, so let's move into some strength training. And it's funny, you see mostly if you go to a traditional gym, you see all the ladies in the Zumba class, which is kind of dancing, or in the step class or in the aerobics class. That's all cardiovascular stuff. And you see all the guys in the weight room. And really we need to kind of switch places because the guys naturally have the strength, with their chemistry, with their testosterone levels. But let's talk about strength training. Why is it important? It builds lean body mass. It builds lean muscle, which is going to improve the quality of your life. Why? One of the ways is it does speed up your metabolism. The more lean body mass you have, the faster your metabolism goes, which is why any of you who have done this program and you've enrolled your husband to do it with you, or I've had husband and wife teams, or even brother and sister teams. I even had two people, a guy and a girl that worked together, join the program and did the program together. They just worked together. But 100% of the time, the men were losing the weight faster. They were losing body fat faster because they naturally have more muscle. So for us women, it's a little more challenging for us to build muscle. We can do it. But it's just we have to spend more time and work a little bit harder to get a little bit of muscle. But the good news is it does speed up metabolism, and it can specifically help combat belly fat. So keep that in mind. Oh, I guess I had that as a bullet. So yeah, reduces belly fat specifically. And I'm not talking just doing a bunch of crunches. I'm talking overall chest, back, core, legs, glutes, working all of your muscle, keeping a balanced workout. If you work the front of the body, at some point this week, you've got to work the back of the body. You work the top of the arm, you've got to eventually work the bottom of the arm. Same thing. You work your quadriceps, your front thighs, you've got to work your hamstrings. You've got to have a balanced workout, which is why I designed the workout in Module 5. It can increase libido one of the reasons is it also helps boost our testosterone levels. We have testosterone as women, or we're supposed to. Some of us test very, very low, which often affects our libido as well. But strength training can also help increase that and bring those numbers back. You can remember in the beginning, I talked about muscle strength and muscle endurance. By doing your strength training, that's how you're going to get those things. Another real benefit to this, and again, this is why women have osteoporosis earlier in life than men. You usually see it in women, or at least earlier or at younger ages. And the reason for that is, again, men generally have more muscle, so they generally have better, stronger, more dense bone density. Whereas women, if we're not working out, if we're not doing strength training, we're losing our bone density as well as muscle. And so that's, again, really, really important. It's why we have to have balance skills, because we fall, we don't want to break a hip, right? And here's the thing with strength training, you guys. As I mentioned, if you're on the treadmill or if you're hiking or you're doing jumping jacks, you're doing something cardio, anything that gets your heart rate up, you're burning calories for that 20 minutes, for that 45 minutes, for that 10 minutes, whatever time you're on that treadmill. And then slowly, in about 30 minutes, your body will go back to its normal metabolism. Now, when we do strength training, which takes longer, takes a few months to start really building muscle. And like I said, the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism goes. But guess what? It turns the dial up on the calorie burning 24 hours a day. So while you're sleeping, you're burning more calories. While you're watching TV or reading a book or a magazine or a newspaper, you're burning more calories. And also the good news with that is, some of you guys probably work out anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 times a week. That's great. That's wonderful. And I love to hear that. That's good. But if something happens where I had to skip my cardio workout, then my body did not burn those extra 500 calories or that extra 300 calories. Now I have to be very careful to eat my 500 or 300 fewer calories so I don't start to put the weight back on. Whereas with strength training and I'm building muscle and I'm sick tomorrow and I can't go to the gym tomorrow, that's okay. My muscle didn't disappear. I'm still burning more calories, if that makes sense. So the cardio, cardio is important. Your lungs, your vascular system, and your heart, very important. But it's here and now. The strength training is 24/7. And I did want to touch on this, and a lot of my new people are asking me this. I don't want you guys to worry about how much proteins, fats, and carbohydrates you should be having. Those are macronutrients, and I will be discussing those in the near future in these group calls. But I really don't want you to overwhelm you. We've given you way, way too much stuff to learn and do and try to track and all of that. And please, if you're brand new, rely on me and reach out to me and ask me a lot of questions. But if you're too low in your protein intake during a calorie deficit, that's how we can tend to lose muscle. So when you're starting off this program, and as the women, we generally give you between 1,100 and 1,400 calorie range. Then when we get on our one-on-one and I learn more about you and your lifestyle, I may change those numbers. But for now, just worry about how many calories you're getting in, and I will help tweak it from there. I will let you know, hey, it looks like you're not getting enough protein. But if you really want to know, you take your desired weight times 0.7. And generally for most women, that's going to be between 80 and 100 grams of protein per day. And to put that into perspective, about 4 ounces of chicken breast is about 25 grams of protein, just to get an idea. So I really like to see you all get at least 4 grams of, fish or chicken or seafood or turkey or whatever at your meals, just so that you're sure to get, if you do that 3 times, you're at 75, then you have a shake and maybe some snack of a protein snack, an egg or something, you'll hit your target. I was going to do the math here. Oops. Calculator. All right. So say if your desired weight is 150, your grams of protein per day would be 105 grams. And that's just a general number. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea what that looks like. So what is strength training? It's basically anything where you're lifting weights. It could be dumbbells, it could be barbells, free weights, the machines at the gym. Machines at the gym are fabulous for a beginner, by the way, because they keep you in alignment. It's harder for you to get your form wrong. You certainly can. I've seen it, but they're set up to give you the right form. They're not as impactful as free weights, but they're safer. So as a beginner, if you have gym membership, use the machines first, and then you graduate to some free weights, dumbbells, barbells, cables, that sort of things. Resistance bands, that's the only equipment that I use in Module 5. Otherwise, I do use body weight. Bar workouts is basically kind of like ballet, but you're using a lot of legs, a lot of core. It can include arms. Yoga is a very, very strength. I would consider it much more of a strength training and flexibility training. Some teachers call it cardio. My heart rate doesn't come up too high, but I can feel my muscles and I can feel my stretching when I do my yoga. Pilates is also strength training. So these are some things that you can incorporate to make sure you're getting your strength training in. All right, so high intensity interval training. So this is a picture of a gal these are called battle ropes. But basically high intensity interval training is a timed exercise. So I do not recommend this for a brand new beginner. So for example, if you're doing, say, 20 seconds of squats, if you don't have your form right on your squats and you're going for fast squats, you're probably going to hurt your knees. So I want you to learn how to do a squat with proper form. Again, I demo that for you in Module 5. All the different forms and what to look for and what not to do and what to be sure to do. But high intensity interval training is timed, whether you're doing cardio, and what she's doing, those battle ropes, those things are heavy. It doesn't look as hard as it really is, but if you're going 20 seconds on these really hard, your heart rate will come up, so you're getting that cardiovascular element to it. She's working the heck out of her arms and her core because she has to stay balanced. So definitely the next level up. Burning more fat and calories within 24 hours versus steady state cardio. These are some of the benefits, by the way. Increases the cardiovascular and muscle gain. It also can increase HGH, human growth hormone, and testosterone levels, just similar to strength training. It takes less time. There's an app you can download called Tabata. I probably have that on here, but it's free. And typical Tabata is 20 seconds work, 10 seconds break. 20 seconds, and it's just an app that you can put on your phone, and it'll tell you when to take a break, and it'll tell you when to begin exercising again. But it's 8 cycles, which is only 4 minutes. Trust and believe, if you do battle ropes for Tabata style for 4 minutes, you will be huffing and puffing. You will be huffing. In fact, that's a very advanced thing to do. That's not an easy thing to do. So you may have, and what's nice about the app is you can change it. You can go 20 seconds work and 20 seconds rest, because maybe 10 seconds rest isn't enough. The main thing with high intensity, you do want your heart rate to be able to come back down a little bit before you jump into the next session or the next segment. No equipment needed necessarily. You just need a timer, you know. The app is called Tabata, and it's free. And like I said, you can change the times. You can change the cycles. So instead of the 4 minutes is too long, which is 8 cycles of 20 seconds work, 10 seconds break, 20 seconds work, 10 seconds break. And by the way, you can mix. So if my first 20 seconds is squats, if I'm squatting, for 20 seconds, all right, then it's break time. And then I'm going to do my jumping jacks for 20 seconds. You're going back and forth. You will get your heart rate up. You will definitely be huffing and puffing. Oops. Any questions on strength training or high intensity interval training? All right, so let's get into some flexibility. And as a group exercise teacher, at the very end, we always do stretch. It's kind of my favorite part. But I would notice a lot of the women, oh, I gotta go, and they roll up their mat, and they put everything away, and they run out the door. And frankly, I feel like they're missing the best part. The best time to stretch is when your muscles are warm. You don't want to stretch cold. You definitely don't want to stretch cold. But some of the benefits are prevention of injury, increased range of motion. Obviously, that's an important thing. You go to reach for something, you don't pull something because it's not used to any kind of movement. It does release stress and lowers cortisol. Well, guess what? What is cortisol? Cortisol is your stress hormone. What does cortisol do in your body? We need it. It makes us get out of the street when a car's about to hit us. We need that cortisol. We need that adrenaline. But what it also does, if it stays in our body too much, if we're constantly stressed, it turns into belly fat specifically. So strength, flexibility training can help lower those cortisol. I keep wanting to say cholesterol. It helps lower those cortisol levels and helping with, body fat and body composition. And as we were talking at the very beginning of this group call, it does actually work the muscles. This is how when I was doing yoga, pretty much yoga only, I used to own a gym. And when I closed up the gym, I joined a yoga studio, and I did not join a regular gym. I just joined a yoga studio. And I really, really, really saw a difference. And a lot of the poses are stretch types of poses. A lot of them are both. That's why I like yoga. You're getting a little bit of stretch and you're working your muscles. But that's how you get those lean muscles, just really good for the body. And it feels good. Now, by the way, some do's and don'ts. Don't bounce. Like if you're sitting on your butt with your legs extended in front of you, don't bounce. Or if you're standing up, bending over, don't bounce. You're just going to take an inhale and then exhale into your stretch. And then you hold it. If you get to the place of pain, back off a little bit, but go to where it feels like a good juicy stretch. And you do want to hold for about at least 20 seconds, if not a full minute, but 20 to 30 seconds. It should feel good. All right, so I did want to touch on Aqua Fitness. As I mentioned, that was my very first job at the senior centers when I first got into being a exercise teacher. But what's really wonderful about it, it's really, it does everything as far as it's good for cardio. The water causes resistance. So if your arms are underwater and you're punching, you're using the water as resistance. So you're really going to get those arms a good workout. If your legs are moving from side to side or leg extensions, you're really using that water as resistance. And the best part about it is any of you, us, I should include myself, if you have any knee, especially knee, or joint like hips or back, your spine issues, they're just not meant for other types of exercise like jumping up and down or jumping jacks, or some of the other stuff is just too hard on your joints. Getting in the water And using things like in this picture, like the noodles, you can use the noodle, push and pull, push and pull. You're working your chest and your back, but you're getting all that resistance. So it's really good for those who have physical limitations, especially knees, but pretty much any of your lower body joints. It's really, really good for that. And if you ever go to a gym and they have a pool and they have aqua aerobics or water aerobics, usually you do see the seniors in there, and that's because it is easier on the joints. But take advantage of it. If you live in a place where it snows or it gets really, really cold in the winters, you probably do have some indoor pools, hopefully. But I would encourage you to give this a try if you have access to a pool that's warm enough. Obviously, this time of year it's a challenge if it's not inside, but I definitely would recommend it because it's a little bit of everything. All right, so let's talk about nutrition. As I mentioned, you can't outrun a bad diet. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. I did that for many, 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 many years. I was the exercise queen. I was not afraid of exercise. I was a personal trainer. I was a very chubby one, but all the exercise, and I was teaching group exercise. I was teaching kickboxing. I was, teaching all the yoga, all the things. But if my diet isn't right, my body composition is still not going to be where I want it. So some of the important things, I know it seems like an extra chore, meal planning, meal prepping, but those are ways to get ahead of yourself and set yourself up for the win. I cannot express to you how important it is to at least get your meals partially prepared, if not all the way prepared. So those of you who've been with me for a while, when I do kitchen hacks, go look at the back kitchen hacks videos from the last time I did it. You'll see the tools that I use and how I make it super, super, super easy and fast and save you money and to save you a boatload of time. Just having your onions and your celery and your carrots and your bell peppers and all your recipe starters. Those are recipe starters in my book. You get those in your freezer frozen, already chopped up. You can make a stir fry in less than 5 minutes. So just set yourself up. Learning your portions for the ladies, you want 4 to 6 ounces of your protein. For men, 6 to 8 ounces of the protein. You want at least 15 to 20 grams of fat, which is a quarter cup of nuts, a tablespoon of butter, a tablespoon of oil, 2 tablespoons of salad dressings. 4-ounce piece of salmon is going to have enough fat and protein, so that's awesome. And your carbohydrates, half cup, half cup, half cup. Do not exceed half cup, and stay at 2 servings per day at 2 separate meals. But that's really important piece. Vegetables are on the all-you-can-eat plan. So I'd love to see at least half your dinner plate covered in vegetables. So when I see half a cup of, asparagus, it's like, come on, guys, your vegetables are your health. They're your anti-aging, they're your nutrition, they're your vision, they're your skincare. Those are the important ones. So load up on those vegetables. Your heart health, all of that sort of stuff. Tracking, as I mentioned, I know it's a pain in the butt, but it's very enlightening. When we write stuff down, we see what we're doing and what we're not doing. When I did this program, I really, truly believed I ate far more vegetables. As you heard me just talk about eating more vegetables. And then I went to write down my meal. I was not eating as many vegetables as I've been telling you all to eat. Like, oh, this is enlightening. I'm really not eating as much as I thought. So tracking is very important, and it will help you learn whether you're getting enough portions or not. Understanding your macronutrients, basically that's carbs, fats, and proteins. I add a 4th one to the group, which is vegetables, because vegetables technically go under the category of carbs. But because our starchy carbs, like winter squash or yams or brown rice or lentils or quinoa, those are carbs we want to keep in. We want them all in a half a cup. We want to make sure that they're staying in a half a cup. What was I lost my train of thought. your macronutrients. So carbs are for energy. So if we're not going to burn it off, we're going to store it. Your vegetables, those are for your anti-aging and for your health. That's why I separate that out. I want you to have lots more of those, even though it's a carb. As long as they're not a starchy carb, load up on those vegetables. And I'm talking zucchini and broccoli, asparagus, all the lettuces, the green leafies, spinach, all that sort of stuff. Oops. All right, so let's go into so hydration. And these things go underrated quite a bit. But when we are dehydrated, when we're dehydrated, it can make us feel hungry when we're not hungry. When we do hydrate our body, it can help cleanse the liver. It can help promote a healthy bowel movement. It supports digestion. It can increase exercise capacity. This is why you ought to start your day with at least 16 ounces of water with a pinch of maybe sea salt so your body absorbs it. But you do that and then you go to work out, you're hydrated, you'll be able to get a really good workout in. When we're dehydrated, it causes all kinds of problems, and it could cause a headache and cause your kidneys to have to work extra hard and your liver to have to work extra hard. But we don't have the energy that we need. Can increase your blood pressure if you're not hydrated. Being hydrated helps break down body fat. It can improve your skin. Improving your skin, is that not incentive enough to stay hydrated? Can increase your bowel movements, can reduce fatigue. What else? When we're dehydrated, it says kidneys shut down. When we're dehydrated, then we get cramps, you get a headache, you feel tired, you can feel weak, confused, and even get constipated. So staying hydrated is really very, very important. Also for rest. Rest is really important for hormone regulation. You want to try to go to bed by 10 so that you're in the correct sleep phase for your body to release the human growth hormone, which I believe is between 12 and 2 a.m. So if you're just getting to bed at 12, you're not in the right sleep state. You're not going to release HGH. That's your anti-aging. That's what's going to help you maintain that lean muscle. That's what's going to help your body stay strong and lean. So we really want to try to go to bed by 10:30 at the latest. The other hormones that it will affect, even after one night of bad sleep, it can affect your ghrelin and your leptin. Your ghrelin is your hunger hormone, and your leptin is your I'm satisfied hormone. And think about that. You have one night of bad sleep. What happens the next day? What do you want to do? You want to eat, and you want to eat carbs. You want to eat comfort food, because one night's of bad sleep or little sleep or no sleep, we don't feel good, right? So we're craving the carbs, we crave the feel good, comfort foods, all of that sort of stuff. Sleep can improve your metabolism, can increase your motivation. If you're tired, like, oh, screw it, I'm not going to go. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I just want to take a nap. Or, okay, so you're kind of disciplined. So you get all the way to the gym. It's like, what kind of workout are you going to get through if you're really, really tired? Right. So it really does affect your motivation and your ability to really knock out a good workout. Obviously, it affects your energy. It affects your food intake because of the ghrelin and leptin are thrown way off. Human growth hormone is reduced by 60 to 75% when we have lack of sleep. Also, good sleep helps us make better decisions. When you're tired, we don't make good decisions. We don't have good impulse control when we're really, really tired. And good sleep can help reduce cravings. So I know, but for physical fitness, like, people think drink a glass of water and get some rest. What? Yeah, start there. Start there. Typically, these are things we want to do, right? We want to take a nap. All right, so physical fitness is exercise plus nutrition, also mindset. We'll do mindset next week. But the reason why we want to do all those things is so that we can have a wonderful quality of life. We want to be able to go dancing or kayaking or hiking with our friends and our family and our kids and our grandkids. We want to be able to go golfing and not be suffering through it. Pickleball or tennis, which is part of our social connection. But these are all fun things to do. I just started picking up pickleball in the last couple months, and it's just laughter the whole way through. I mean, I'm not very good at it, but when we get a good volley back and forth, it's fun. And so this is what brings joy to our life. But if we're so sick and tired, we're not going to be able to play. So again, to just do whatever you can, start small. We want to be able to travel, do other water sports, playing with the grandkids, going to festivals and not being so tired you have to sit down every 5 minutes. We go to the weddings, we have the funky chicken dance. We want to be able to do all those things. And this is why we want to exercise. At least in my mind, people go, well, because I dance as a hobby too. And people say, oh, that's good exercise. I'm like, no, I exercise so that I can dance because that is my fun and my joy and also my social time too. All right. So with that, does anybody have any questions or comments or thoughts? Oops. I did want to recap. I thought I had a recap slide in here, but I guess I don't. So as far as your strength training goes, for strength training, so in module 5, how I start you off is I have you put your body into 4 parts. All I want you to do is 1 part a day. So say, for example, today is a push day, which is anything chest. So if you're doing a push-up or a chest press or whatever, I give you 6 or 8 choices. So all I ask is that you do 2 exercises, 3 sets of 12. Okay? You do 3 sets of 12 of exercise 1, and you do 3 sets of the other exercise that you've chosen. Any 2, I don't care which 2, just pick 2 that look like something that you're willing to do, that looks tolerable to you. So, and then tomorrow you'll do legs, and the next day you'll do another body part. Then when you circle back, which is why it's very important to track, super important to track your progress, because when I come back to chest day, okay, so I did 3 sets. For example, I did 3 sets of wall push-ups, 3 sets of 12. So what I want you to do is increase one little thing. So we're not going to increase sets and reps and make it harder and add more exercises. I only want you to increase one thing. So if I did wall push-ups, 3 sets of 12 wall push-ups, maybe this time around I'll do 3 sets of 18 instead of 3 sets of 12. Or maybe I'll just do 4 sets of 12. Keep the same amount of reps, but add another set, an additional set. Or I can make it harder, go from the wall. I'll still stick with three sets of 12, but then I'll go the kitchen counter. So I've just made it a little bit harder. And don't worry, I show you that in the module 5. But I want you to write it down because that's what's going to start to make it more fun, because every time you come back to that particular muscle group, what can I add? What can I increase just a little bit more? That way it's not going to be so painful. Because if you go in and do a full boot camp and the next day, when I was looking for jokes for today's call, it showed a guy, his house was on fire, but he just did leg day. So he was like floating down the stairs just because he couldn't even walk. I don't want you guys to be so sore that you hate it and that you never want to do that again because you literally couldn't sit down on the potty. You know what I mean? So that's why it's little teeny tiny increments. So either increase your sets, increase the reps, or increase the intensity, or maybe you add that 3rd exercise. And eventually it'll be 4, and eventually it'll be maybe more than that. But so you'll work your way up to a half an hour on just that one group. But just teeny tiny increments is how you're going to progress.
What's the best exercise for getting rid of your tummy?
The abs are made in the kitchen, not necessarily in the gym. So there's no such thing as spot reduction. So if I have a big butt and I'm trying to, I would want to do overall cardio and strength training with some flexibility training. Aqua aerobics is fine too. But really, managing your food if you're looking for weight loss. Now, that being said, strength training, which it includes high intensity interval, can specifically target belly fat because it helps increase your calorie burn, and it does target belly fat. But I would recommend you do all the parts. Work your chest for belly fat, work your back for belly fat, work your legs for belly fat, because again, it's going to speed up your metabolism. So you're burning calories while you're sleeping.
So if you want to do walking, should you take weights with you when you're doing walking?
You can. You can. If you're doing walking, wear a Fitbit, wear a heart rate monitor, wear a smartwatch. There's an Aura ring you can wear. Any kind of device that will, I think there's even apps that you can get on your phone that will track your heart
I
rate.
have it. I have it tracked.
Yeah. So that's first of all if you're walking, that's first where you want to be. Now you're going to increase your heart rate if your hands go any higher than your heart. So if you're doing this while you're walking, you're absolutely going to increase your heart rate. Because again, like I said, I don't want to run because that's too impact for my joints. So how else would if I only have a flat neighborhood to walk in, if I really want to get my heart rate up without running, I'm going to put my hands over my head. If you want to add weights to that, you could. Now, that's going to build some muscular endurance if you're doing that for 10 minutes versus a really heavy weight and you're doing 3 sets of 12 and you're doing like 8-pound weights. That's going to be plenty. In fact, a lot of us can't even do that. That's going to be hard. You start where you are. If you start with 3 pounds, great. Get up to 5, then go to 7, then go to 9, then go to 12. You're going to incrementally go up. But if you're doing cardio, let's start with managing your heart rate. And then you can add, and then that's another thing too, is in between sets eventually. So if I'm doing my push-ups, but I want to do 20 or 30 seconds of some kind of cardio movement, jumping jacks, skiers, something where it's going to get my burpees, something where I want to get my heart rate up, and then do set number 2, and then do the cardio again, and then do set number 3. We're doing a little bit of both. So that's a great way to incorporate cardio with your strength. Because at the end of the day, it is about calories out, but we want to be the most efficient that we can. And if your heart rate isn't up, you're really not getting a good heart workout, you're not getting a lung workout, and you're not getting those veins and arteries stretched out and flexible.
I have to tell you, you look very pretty today, Tammy.
You say that every time I wash my hair.
That's so funny.
I wash it once a month whether it needs it or not.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, I often do put it up because it's just easier. And on Tuesdays, I do play pickleball, and I don't want to wash my hair before pickleball. So Wednesdays seems to be the day I wash my hair. I'm usually on the weekend. I only go twice a week because it just dries out my hair too much. But thank you very much. That was nice of you to say. Does anybody else have any other questions? It does not have to be related to exercise. If you have something else that you're concerned about or not sure about, or that's what these calls are for, is use this time for that if you have a question.
I have a question, kind of unrelated. Tammy, is cottage cheese allowed eventually on the diet plan or no?
Great question. And cottage cheese is a dairy, so we don't recommend dairy until after week 12.
Okay.
When you and I get on our transition call, which you guys all get one-on-one calls, save that 4th one till the end. If you've used all 4, I still want you to book your transition call so I can talk to you about how to reintroduce those gray area foods. So it's going to be how to reintroduce dairy, how to reintroduce gluten, red meat, legumes, other stuff like that, which you can, but let's see, but I don't usually go over that too much because I don't know how far you will have come in those 12 weeks. So we'll see what kind of progress. But generally speaking, how it works is say you're missing dairy the most. So I want to bring back dairy first. Okay, great. Choose dairy. You're going to choose one of those four things. And so say you choose dairy, so great, have some cottage cheese, but then notice everything about your body in these next few days. Did it constipate me? Do my joints hurt? Can I breathe through my nose? Dairy and gluten are notorious for mucus. And I know when I have dairy, I can't breathe through my nose just because I get stuffy. Constipated, diarrhea, bloating, but just pay attention. And I want you to wait at least 5, if not 7 whole days. So you really get a good feel for what dairy's doing. And then you'll know, okay, dairy did nothing. I was fine. Or yeah, notice my joints hurt a little bit. Wasn't terrible. So you know you might have a slight sensitivity. And then in a week you'll introduce something else. But you won't have like a cheese sandwich where we're doing dairy and gluten at the same time.
Unfortunately.
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. There's gluten-free breads out there, but they're made with usually rice flour and they're higher glycemic. Kathy, you had something?
I have a question. So do you have any thoughts on the mini trampoline workouts?
Yes, the rebounder.
Yes.
That is really good. So that's going to be more cardio than any
Sure.
to put it in a category. I put it in cardio. But what's cool about that is it is cardio and you can do it inside, whether it's raining or 120 degrees out. So that's cool. But the other benefit to that is a couple of benefits. Yes, you're burning calories, but also it's really good for lymphatic drainage.
Yeah, that's what I
Your lymph system is your sewer system in your body, so it really helps. I would say take a binder after you do that, so any toxins that get, freed, so to speak, don't just land somewhere else in your body. The binder will attract to it, and then you'll eliminate it. It can also help with bone density as well.
Okay. It is kind of fun too.
Yeah, and I had one, and I sold it because I lived in California and then I moved here to Arizona, and I was not going to be a personal trainer anymore. I just was done with that. Just done. And never say never, because I still keep my certification alive. I'm still a certified personal trainer. But yeah, all of my stuff, I sold it. I just sold it all in one lump sum. They had to buy everything. Just the step, my focus mitts, my boxing gloves, my resistance bands, TRX, all of it. I kept one strap, but yeah, I had a rebounder and I wish I had it back.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
You said after you do that, you add a binder. I don't know what that is.
Well, a binder would be something like activated charcoal or bentonite clay, or what's the other clay? It's another clay. And it just, when you consume it, and bentonite clay can come in as a powder, and you put it in water and drink it. And you might do that right after that. But activated charcoal is usually in capsules. But what it does, it literally attracts the toxins to it, and then you'll, eliminate it. It'll go into a bowel movement and leave your body. Because sometimes when we loosen up the toxins in our body, they loosen up and then they just land somewhere else. We want to flush it out. That's why drinking a lot of water is really important. And then taking a binder.
So I am using that exercise plate. And that's
Whole body vibration, that's wonderful.
Sorry.
That's real good for increasing bone density as well. It also does burn calories. It also burns extra calories, but like you can actually do exercise on it and it fires. So if I'm standing on the whole body vibration plate, and I'm just standing there and burning more calories, but if I'm on the whole body vibration doing squats, it's causing, because it's wobbly, it's causing my muscle fibers to fire far more than if I'm doing squats on a solid, flat, not moving surface. So you can do push-ups on it, it's shaking. So you're doing, it just fires more fibers. So it's it might make you itchy at first because it causes such circulation. And we talked about circulation, how important that is for healing any joints or, something, traumas in the body. If you're damaged or you hurt yourself, we want that circulation, and that's a good way to get it.
A
Yes.
question to piggyback. Could we, because I have one of those, I just bought it a couple of months ago. Could we do squats if you do it carefully on that as well?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know
You
that.
can even do like 1 foot on and 1 foot off as a squat, or you can turn this way, 1 foot forward and 1 foot on the floor, like a
And
lunge.
do a lunge. Okay.
Yep. Another thing I don't know if you guys can see me. Another thing you might want to do is stand on it and then practice your balance. Do this, and it's hard. It's really hard, but that fires your core,
Core.
your balance muscles, and you might have to hang on to something, but try to hang on with like 1 finger. So you're really letting your body do the work. But
Awesome.
even this, or just leg out to the side, and that way you're working your glutes, your muscles around your hips, which increases the integrity of your hip joint. But you do that on 1 leg, you're really going to fire up those muscle fibers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Great question.
Is the vibration plate also good for the lymphatic system?
Yes, definitely. Well, I don't know which one's more the rebounder or that. I honestly don't know, but they're both really good for that.
Thanks.
All right, guys, I have to get to stepping. I got another appointment coming up, so I got to get going here, but I'm so glad that you guys were able to join, and I really appreciate your presence here. And I hopefully, oh, shoot, there's some people in chat. Someone just said, thank you. Have you ever heard of the only bean, black bean pasta? Who said that? Oh, Amy. Oh, and she's still here. Great. Oh, I love this question. Please, first of all, black beans are a legume, so we're not doing those in the first 12 weeks, but look at your labels. Those are packed with carbohydrates. So if you're going to go run the marathon, great. But if you want a pasta that's lower carb, which is what I would recommend, I would go with the It's Skinny noodles. It's a brand. It's called It's Skinny, or Palmini, which is made from hearts of palm. So it's basically a vegetable. It's like almost no calories, no carbs, or like nothing. And the It's Skinny is kind of cool because it comes spaghetti, it comes in fettuccine, it comes in angel hair. So you get a little variety. I get it online. And now It's Skinny is in Costco as well. So you can get it there and probably get a better price.
How do you spell the palmetto?
Palmini, Palmini. Think of hearts of palm. So Palmini. And I don't know if they have like spaghetti, fettuccine, angel hair. I don't know. I think they have spaghetti, but I'm not sure. Either way, it's good. I think the It's Skinny is a little better because it doesn't have any flavor. So if you put a marinara sauce on it, it's going to taste like that. You put a lemon butter, it's going to taste like that. It's whatever you're going to. Oh, Juliana put a link, you guys, in the chat for the Palmini. So if you guys click that now, because I'm going to get ready to go, click it now so you'll have the link. You're welcome, Amy, and congratulations again on your success. All right, guys, I got to go. I will see you guys all next time. Have a great day, and I will see you maybe tomorrow. And don't forget, Friday, I'm taking you guys through probably about a 30-minute stretch / gentle yoga class. So dress
What time
comfortable.
is that on Friday, Tammy?
It's going to be 8:30 my time, which is Mountain Time.
Okay.
So wherever you are, just have to do your math.
Okay. Thank you.
All
Have a